Tips from Trestle is brought to you by the Belcher Companies, Navigator Group Purchasing, eMenu Choice Point of Sale, and Clark Food Service and Equipment. Welcome to Tips from Trestle. This podcast is dedicated to discussing the senior living industry with a unique focus on food, hospitality, and leadership. I'm your host, Aaron Fish. As a 25-year veteran of the hospitality industry, I've focused my work on creating exceptional experiences for the customers we serve. My goal for this podcast? Educate, inform, and inspire leaders in senior living to bring food and hospitality to the front of mind in our industry. Let's bring the innovative and passionate spirit of hospitality to everything that we do, for the residents, families, guests, and employees we serve each and every day. So what are we waiting for? Let's get to it. Today on Tips from Trestle, I'm joined by Becky Smith and Mary Worrell. Becky is a senior sales executive for Clark Food Service Equipment. In her role, she assists partners to streamline their day-to-day food service equipment and smallwares needs by allowing partners to get what they want, when they need it, and at the right price. Becky has a passion to work alongside Clark partners to make the equipment and supply category easy, innovative, and even a little fun. Becky graduated in 2001 from the Pennsylvania State University with a degree in hospitality management. After graduation, she worked for a variety of hotel, park, and catering locations until she found her home at Clark. Mary has been with Clark Food Service since 2012. In her role as the Business Relations Manager, she oversees the Clark Pro Marketplace account management and project management team. This team works to build relationships with customers and coordinates the specialized service for opening orders. Mary graduated from Bloomsburg University with a bachelor's degree in business management. And Clark Food Service is a sponsor from Tips from Trestle. So ladies, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, we're happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, I want to talk with you guys about the specialization and the customization work that you do around helping senior living operators get their food service programs and designs up and running. But first, let's talk a little bit about how Clark got into the senior living space so our listeners can kind of understand your background.
Yeah, great question. Well, first of all, thanks for having us. Always been honored to partner with you on any of your past projects and future endeavors. So we are actually in our 50th plus year in our business here, and senior living has always been a core segment for us. But up until about 12 years ago, we were really a local distribution company, assisting senior living locations, restaurants, catering facilities, higher ed, within a 2-hour radius of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, here where our corporate office is. So senior living has always been a core component of the work that we do, not only on our day-to-day equipment and smallware side of things, but from a foundation of contribution to just really give back to our community here. So when we grew our business outside of our radius here, it was only natural that we stepped into, focusing heavily on senior living. There are so many fantastic partners across the country that we've had the opportunity to work with over the years since we've been able to expand, utilizing, distribution from all of our warehouses across the country. Senior living still remains about half of our business that we have today here at Clark and at Pro Marketplace. And so we're excited about that.
Wow, no, it's great to know that was always a focus and part of what you did, because a lot of other vendors that I work with, it's a space that they're working to get into now, or they've just gotten into in the last few years. So I love the fact that you guys have been kind of always in the space. And so in thinking about customized solutions, food service, especially in the senior living space, is really evolving to be, I like to refer to it as taking the style out of restaurant style and really being actually running restaurants. And so when you guys work or look at projects and you're supporting a new project, what's that process for a customized solution? How do you guys go about putting that process in place? What do you do? And what does that look like?
Yeah, and that's a great question, because I think something I hear us saying around here a lot recently is, well, once you've seen one, because everyone's needs and operations are completely different. Everyone has different pain points. And so really we have to understand what's important to the customer, what is working for them, what are some of the things that we need to change and realign. We talk about aligning and being, that specialized expertise for the sophisticated customer. And it truly can't be a one size fits all. So at the end of the day, we have to listen. We need to ask questions. We need to take feedback. And whether that is through a full design and equipment package that we're offering, or on our pro marketplace side with curating their online branded catalog with the items they're ordering on a regular basis, what can we do to make the category of equipment supplies work better for them? I think the biggest takeaway there really is understanding what's important to that customer, taking the expertise that we've had from all of these years and years and years of working in the senior living industry, knowing what's worked, knowing what hasn't worked, and bringing that into the mix too.
Yeah, and I appreciate that you mentioned kind of the after the project, kind of like you have a marketplace and customizing the store and all of that, because I think, I know from my time being in operations, that was something that I always found, as a larger operator, super valuable to be able to, hey, this is our standard stuff. Like, this is what we need to be doing, and helping make the life of the director or the chef on the ground easier, right? They can't be hunting and pecking for stuff. They need to be really, hey, I need some plates, I need some silverware, I need some knives, whatever it might be. They can go and get what the standard, what's been kind of tested out as the right solution. And so, Mary, I'm curious, from your vantage point, did you kind of manage the teams that do this? How have you guys streamlined and created these solutions, especially around like new community openings? This industry is growing fast, and there are a lot of people developing new properties. And so I'm curious how you guys approach that.
Yep, absolutely. We have a service that we have developed over the last probably 7 or 8 years of this thing we call our staged order service. So this project management team has a thorough process to help consult on, projects for new locations. So making sure that we're having all the items included with those projects. Something that always comes to mind is, we're supplying the glass racks, and we want to make sure you're getting the dollies for those glass racks, because I know you all probably, it's a pain to have to move those around without wheels.
Right.
So we're making sure, from that standpoint, that's really, the account management team and our sales team focusing on building those packages, but then we're coming in to consult on those. And then we have a thorough process of coordinating the logistics of these so we can place one giant order for these new locations. And instead of getting, 50 to 100 different shipments going all over your building, we can consolidate this at a warehouse. We have a Clark warehouse we can do this at, or we have third-party partners all over the country that help us consolidate this. And then we deliver it on your desired day. So what's going to work best with you and your team. And we have project managers that actually will attend to these deliveries on site to help unload that truck, break down pallets, break down boxes, check in inventory for you, address any issues on site, any glassware damage or, missing parts. And then, making sure that overall, package is being delivered successfully and helping set up your kitchen. You were saying, make it easy for the users. That's our goal. We just want to make it as easy as possible.
Yeah, having lived through a few of those openings and having tens of thousands of dollars worth of smallwares just kind of showing up and not really, trying to tackle it without any sort of organization on some projects. I can see how having this kind of tailored solution to say, hey, we're here to help. We kind of understand where everything's at. We know the product because we work with it every day. It makes things a lot easier. I've seen it, I've experienced it. It's a really good service to have. So, Becky, when you're looking at supporting operators on selecting equipment and supplies for the project, what are some of the key considerations that you guys use or that operators should think about when they're doing this? You know, budgets are getting a little bit tighter. People are a lot more aware of, you know, where those dollars are being spent on a project. And so how do you guys support that? And what are some of those key considerations that operators should think about as they look at these things?
Yeah, and I think a lot of this comes down to change and innovation. And you know, we're always getting those calls of, well, I just need to replace this, you know, convection oven. I need to replace the steamer, and we're not really thinking above and beyond, you know, what we're currently doing and how that could change and operate better. So I think we're always pushing the envelope and asking those questions in terms of, is this working for you? Is there something that you would like to see? Can we do this differently? Additionally, on top of that is having the ability to source all of the brands and tiers of products that we have. We're always talking in terms of good, better, best, right? So is this a workhorse? Is this something that you're using day in, day out? Is this something you're pulling out once a month for a special event? Those are two very different conversations in terms of quality. And so I think, you know, what I hear us talk a lot about here is we of course want to sell things. We want to sell equipment and supplies, but we want to sell the right thing. So having that conversation and carrying on a little further in trying to determine what's best for the need is really what we pride ourselves on, and I think what sets us apart. So
to kind of dive into that a little bit further, when you're talking to an operator that maybe you've done a few projects with, does that conversation, I assume it does, that starts to shift towards, hey, we've done 3 of these projects. Like, what are the things that you are finding? Like, maybe we need to bulk this stove up to be, you know, maybe you need to go from a good to a better, or maybe the small wares don't make sense. Do you find that those conversations get easier the more projects you do and the partnership is being built? And how does that translate over to future projects, maybe with new partners that you're working with?
Today, I want to tell you about one of Tressel's senior living partners, Belter. Belter is a food service design, equipment, and supply company that has been providing expert guidance to the food and beverage industry for nearly a century. A strategic partner to the most successful food service operations in the country, Belter provides support in kitchen and bar design, equipment procurement and install, and supplies. Their team of senior living food service experts have experience across the continuum of care. From independent living to skilled nursing and CCRCs, Belter specializes in right-sizing new facilities, modernizing remodels, and providing the right food service equipment and supplies. At Belter, they are committed to creating memorable experiences for their customers and their guests. With their top-notch team and a global network of quality supplier partners, their customer-focused approach is built on a foundation of collaboration and decades of industry experience. So thank you for considering Belter for all of your food service needs.
So you always have to start somewhere, absolutely. And you can put your best foot forward with the information that you have, with the operator, what's important to the operator, you know, us pulling in our expertise from other projects that we've done. But you can never stop, you know, refining what you're offering. And, you know, it's also, it depends on if we have an operation that's very cookie cutter, or there are a lot where they're all very different. But we absolutely take away from all of the work that we do, you know, how could we have done that better? And let's implement that the next time. So that is a huge part of looking back and doing that postmortem and making sure we improve the next time.
Do you get a lot of operators? I know that, you know, I kind of got into a routine of, I had like a certain way I expected things to be equipment wise laid out. And then I'd be like, where's the box? How does it fit together? And like doing all that. Do you find that when you have new operators coming to you to work with you, that you're able to, do you show them examples of things that you've done and show them the equipment? Or do you just kind of approach it with a blank slate, but knowing that you've kind of got some of those answers from previous projects that you can bring to the table?
Yeah, I mean, I think we are always bringing in examples to, an operator that we're just starting to work with, and because they may have a partnership with another company or project that they've done in the past. And, step one there is the listening part, and learning from them what has worked. But we're always bringing back into the conversation, in this operation, this was an issue that they saw. So it's something we want to avoid in your operation. Here's how we handled that, right? Here's how we operated through that. And here's what we learned, right? So that we can always provide a better solution for that new partner and start somewhere with that. So I think that's really why that experience and that specialized expertise is so priceless, and the 50 plus years of the company here at Clark. And when you look at the average tenure of our employees, I mean, I'm about to hit 20 years this year. Mary's been here, 11, right? 11-ish. Yeah. I mean, we have senior designers on our design team that have been here 30 plus years. And so it is really a niche boutique industry that we have to be experts in.
Yeah. And so kind of thinking about taking that project to the next step, Mary, how do you, as you kind of oversee these teams that are doing the implementation and everything, how do you measure that's the level of success with the project? Was it an A project or was it a C project? How do you guys measure that success after the fact?
Yeah, well, I can kick it off with our, a good example of this. So one of our customers, we work with resort lifestyle communities. We've been working with them for about four years. And they came to us and they wanted this, staged order service that we offer. But the big thing with them was we have this very thorough check-in process for their items. Mm-hmm. And over time, I've become more involved with the account. I know their lists in and out. And they, now when we get to site, I am in complete control of those lists, and the people who actually are placing the orders, they don't even have to be there. So these are the regionals that are really building these packages out. Yeah. Taking this huge lift off them, that they can go and do all the stuff they need to do to open their community. And I can sit and check in and make sure everything is there and address any needs directly. And I actually have become almost this resort lifestyle expert. And the teams that are there, they're like the brand new kitchen staff to the community. And they're like, hey, what's this, what's this plate for? What's this beverage dispenser? What's this? And I'm answering these, acting like I work there. They think I work there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I really enjoy it. And we've come so far over the past 4 years. It's like, it's taken this huge lift off them that we don't even talk about when I'm placing it. They just tell me their dates and I, place it with enough time. Our warehouse knows exactly what to expect. They even pack it the way they need them to be packed. We've come so far from that first delivery. So it's, Becky said, we're doing these postmortems and evaluating what can we be doing better? And every time just making changes, because there's always something we could improve on, and then carrying that over to other projects as well and new customers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can elaborate on that a little bit. I mean, Mary's infamous, glass rack cheat sheet where it's color coded and tells you this is for the Pilsner glass, this is for the wine glass. And, those things are just so essential because there's all these little tiny details, but it just helps to make everything easy on their end.
Yeah, no, I know, being able to having worked with you guys in the past, giving you the feedback has been, every project would always get better and better. Your example of the glass racks is one of those, right? Like learning, hey, these are the ones that need to go here, and this is what this is for, and understanding the right counts, and even getting down to making sure that it's the right size, right? So, and then knowing that you can get in there and if you need to make changes from project to project, being able to give you guys that feedback, and it's almost behind the scenes, it's happening without really thinking about it from an operator's perspective. That's such a huge piece of the puzzle that I think is important. So as you guys think about the industry and all of the growth that's happening and where we're heading and how operators are shifting what they're doing with their food service programs, what is some of the things that you guys are planning to do to keep innovating, to keep improving what you're doing to support operators with their new build projects or even their existing projects and keeping them operating smoothly.
Navigator is the largest full-service GPO that exclusively focuses on the senior living community. And what that means is we provide products and services that help our members provide a great environment for their residents, such as like MRO, hospitality equipment, food, business products, as well as technology solutions. We actually surround our members with a level of support unmatched in the industry.
I'll share a few things, and Mary, you can weigh in on your side of things. So I think, going back to the success stories and that piece too, so many of our partners use so many different vendors, purchase from so many different places. And so that consolidation and that one-stop shop has become so effective for our partners to eliminate, the 16 people they buy from. If you can get all of those same products at a similar or better price from one place, that streamlined approach is so important. So, that is our goal. Our goal is to continue to expand the breadth of products that we have, continue to expand our technology in terms of how you're placing orders, how easy it is to place an order, and then the distribution piece, right? Continuing to strive to that distribution excellence and be able to get to all of our partners within a couple of business days. We're all expecting that instant gratification nowadays where we order from Amazon and we get it the next day. We expect that in our working lives too, right? We expect that from our partners in our working life. So I think when we say what's next, it's going to be continuous improvement and never stopping to innovate.
Going off that, like that instant gratification, the account managers are constantly working with with our customers to say, what are you guys buying? And looking at, the reports of high dollar items and a lot of spend. And so saying, we got to push these to stock or make sure we're keeping these available, because we know that just betters the relationship all, and everybody wants everything in a day or two. And so that's one of our, big goals when onboarding new accounts and working.
Yeah, no, I think it's so important to, that constant improvement and involvement. And like you were talking about, getting that feedback and understanding, like, these are the things we absolutely need to have. And I imagine that that's probably constantly evolving because, 10 years ago, people just needed spoodles and knives and kind of the basic stuff. And now, getting more into the specialized tools and being able to elevate the total experience. I've got to think that that's really pushed you guys from an inventory standpoint to have a lot more options and choices going forward for your customers. So
100%.
So, well, ladies, we've kind of come to the end of our time here today, and so it always seems to go really fast. But if you would, will you share with the listeners the best way they can learn more about, what Clark Food Service has to offer and how they can reach out to you individually if they have questions or want to learn more?
Yeah, you got it. So, I know Mary and I are both on LinkedIn. You can do outreach through our intro page or through our email addresses. Mine's bsmith@cfse.biz and Mary's is mwhirl@cfse.biz, as in Clark Food Service Equipment. Based in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, you'll also find us at a lot of the industry trade shows out there. And so, certainly stop by our booth.
Awesome. Well, ladies, this has been great. Thanks so much for letting me kind of dive into how you guys operate a little bit and better understanding those specialized projects from the distributor side of things. So thanks again for joining me today on Tips from Trestle.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks.
So there you have it, another one in the books. Thanks again, everybody, for listening. Please follow, like, and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on Twitter @Tips from Trestle. You can also learn more about the work I do by following me on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and even TikTok. And be sure to check out Trestle Hospitality Concepts at www.trestlehospitalityconcepts.com. I'm your host, Aaron Fish, and this has been another episode of Tips from Trestle.